Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, we from the International Students Group, we would like to introduce to you all about this food called tempeh. But before we start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Royyan Seswanto. You can call me Adam. My student ID is 2025 424108. Tempeh is a tasty and healthy food made from the fermentation of soybeans.
Tempeh is a very versatile food as it could be cooked in different ways, such as the tempeh mendoan. This tempeh is thinly sliced, dipped in spiced flour batter, and then lightly fried. It is served hot with sweet soy sauce and chili.
Tempeh most likely originated on the island of Java at least several centuries ago. At the time, the people of Java, with no professional training in microbiology or chemistry, created a fascinating family of fermented foods known as tempeh.
Other than in Indonesia, tempeh is also found widely in countries like Malaysia.
Just one more thing before we start. What is yeast actually? Tempeh production usually uses rhizopus molds for its production, such as Rhizopus oligosporus, Oryzae, and Stolonifer. It belongs to the Mucoraceae family. As the mold grows, it generates fluffy white mycelia that binds the bean together, resulting in an edible cake of partially catabolized soybeans. Rhizopus oligosporus is the ideal beginning culture for tempeh production.
Rhizopus oligosporus is the main mold used in tempeh industry's fermentation process, and it is an aerobic mold, meaning that it needs oxygen. So there are three main reactions involved in the fermentation of tempeh, which is firstly proteolysis, or in other words, protein breakdown. So in this reaction, the protein is broken down into peptides using a protease enzyme, and the peptides is broken down into amino acids using peptidase enzymes. Next is lipolysis or fat breakdown. So in this reaction, the fat, which is in this case triglycerides, is broken down into glycerol and free fatty acids or FFA using the lipase enzyme. And lastly, there's also carbohydrate hydrolysis. So in this case, the starch is broken down into simple sugars such as maltose and glucose using amylase enzyme, and then it is broken down into carbon dioxide and water as per the usual fermentation process. So here are the simple ingredients and tools to make tempeh. So for the tools, you will need a latex glove, you will need a pot, you will need a thread, and lastly paper or banana leaves. For the ingredients, you would need a Rhizopus oligosporus yeast and soybeans. The tempeh making process is divided into several parts. The first being soybean preparation. So in this phase, you need to boil the soybean in a pot of water for several minutes, and then it is taken out, it is cooled, then it is pulled into a machine to be sorted, cleaned, and to be dehulled. The hulls are removed because the mold grows better without them. And then we inoculate the mold by mixing the Rhizopus oligosporus spores evenly. And then we will pack those inoculated beans into perforated plastic bags or banana leaves to allow airflow. Then we ferment the packed beans for 3 to 5 days. And then after waiting for several days, we stop the fermentation by cooling the mold into room temperature. And there you go, your tempeh is ready.
Now that you know all about this great food called tempeh, please eat more of it. Okay? That's all from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.